On July 16, 1999, John F. Kennedy Jr. died with his family when their plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean. The circumstances surrounding the crash continue to raise questions. Days before his death, Kennedy was declared a frontrunner for the New York Senate seat, putting him ahead of his rival, First Lady Hillary Clinton. After his death, she was elected senator for New York. Kennedy's name was added to a list circulating the internet. The list comprises over 50 names, with no connection to each other apart from the fact that all of them died mysteriously and all of them had connections to the Clintons. In most cases, the people on the list were poised to oppose or expose the Clintons shortly before they died. The list is known as the Clinton body count, and conspiracy theorists believe it is damning evidence of an extensive cover-up of crimes committed by America's most powerful political couple. Is it possible that Bill and Hillary Clinton's rise to power was facilitated by brutally eliminating the competition? Not all the names on the list are as illustrious as JFK Jr. Many of them are former bodyguards of President Clinton who were killed in helicopter crashes or by apparent suicide. One name on the list that stands out is Mary Mahoney. In July 1997, she was closing up a Starbucks when gunmen broke in and killed all the staff, including her. No money or other goods were taken from the shop. It bore all the hallmarks of an execution. Days before her death, the headlines had been dominated by a lawsuit brought against President Clinton by Paula Jones, a former Clinton employee who charged the president with sexual harassment. Newsweek reported that a former White House staffer with the initial M was going to give evidence against Clinton. Mary Mahoney had been a White House intern for Clinton in 1991. Conspiracy filmmaker Pat Matroschiana is one of many who believe Mahoney was murdered on the orders of Bill Clinton simply to protect his public image against Paula Jones. According to them, Jones was too publicly prominent to risk an assassination. Unfortunately for conspiracy theorists, a man called Carl Cooper confessed to the killing of Mahoney as a robbery gone wrong, and Monica Lewinsky came out to speak against the president's extramarital activities. Many critics of the body count list use examples like this to dispel the notion that the Clintons have been merrily murdering their way to the top for decades. So where does this list come from? The body count list apparently started with a lawyer named Linda Thompson. In April 1993, the tragedy of the Waco siege prompted her to compile and publish an early form of the list. Just a few months later, the list would gain its most prominent and compelling entry. On July 20, 1993, Vince Foster was found dead in Fort Macy Park near Washington, D.C. He had been shot through the neck with his grandfather's pistol. Official investigations ruled that his death was a suicide. Foster was a close friend and colleague of First Lady Hillary Clinton. Unswervingly loyal to the president and his wife, he had supposedly helped to cover up dodgy real estate deals, unpaid taxes, and controversial staff sackings made before and during Bill Clinton's presidency.
I, William Jefferson Clinton, do solemnly swear.
With his help, the Clintons survived the worst scandals of Bill's first term. By all accounts, he was a happy, decent, and dependable man. It therefore seemed strange that such a well-rounded, successful, and valuable member of Team Clinton should commit suicide. The public outcry led to an investigation by independent counsel Ken Starr. It was heavily criticized for postponing the publication of its results for over 3 years. Eventually, Starr confirmed the police's view that Vince Foster killed himself. However, investigator Hugh Sprunt had other ideas. Using the forensic evidence made available by police, Sprunt published his own report on Foster's death. He concluded that Foster had in fact been murdered. Sprunt highlighted several unusual aspects of the case to criticize the police's conclusions. For one thing, carpet fabric was found on Foster's clothes, suggesting he had lain down on a carpeted floor in his suit. Foster's glasses were found several meters from his body, apparently blown off by the gunshot. Yet the gun's trigger guard was wrapped around his thumb, as if it had been dropped on Foster's dead hand. Sprunt used these details to suggest that Foster had been killed somewhere else, and was carried to the park by a person or persons unknown, with his glasses falling off in the process and the murder weapon being planted on him. Sprunt says the suicide story was a cover-up. There wasn't even a suicide note to explain Foster's actions. That is, until after his funeral, when torn fragments of a note were found in his briefcase. This note was held by the White House for 30 hours before it was released to the police. Its most revealing and confounding phrase is a remark in Foster's handwriting which says, the public will never believe the innocence of the Clintons and their loyal staff. To conspiracy theorists, this is a clear signal from Foster that he was ready to turn against the Clintons and expose their wrongdoings to the American public. To the Clinton supporters, it is clear evidence that Foster was too depressed by political pressures and the scandals that rocked his close friends to cope with life any longer. Foster's death drew a lot of attention to the body count list, and its profile was boosted by the media, who reported on the many mysterious deaths surrounding the Clintons in publications like The Washington Post and Newsweek. On April 15, 1998, the New York Times revealed that coverage of these conspiracy theories had been promoted by Richard Mellon Scaife, a billionaire who funded a secret smear campaign against Clinton called the Arkansas Project. Scaife spent upwards of $2 million on the project, which was responsible for most of the revelations of Clinton's financial and sexual indiscretions, not all of which were proven.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman, Miss Lewinsky.
The project also deliberately encouraged, but carefully never endorsed, the theory that Clinton had arranged for Vince Foster to be murdered as part of a grand cover-up of his misdeeds. When Clinton ended his second term as president in 2001, he left the Oval Office under a cloud of controversy, yet with the highest approval rating of any American president since the Second World War. The body count list drifted into obscurity and ceased to add new names. Recently, with Hillary Clinton expected to run for the presidency in 2016, the body count list has seen a surge in promotion. Some conspiracy websites, like WhatReallyHappened.com, have even started adding new names to the list. After first compiling the Clinton body count list in 1993, Linda Thompson founded the American Justice Federation, a pro-gun and pro-constitution activist group. She died in 2009 from an overdose of medication. She left the Clinton body count list to be shaped and distributed freely by anyone who believed in it, chiefly on the internet. In that way, the list may be the USA's first crowd-researched criminal investigation in history. Alternatively, it may be a falsified document used as political propaganda by right-wing enemies of a popular president. Whatever it is, you can rest assured that as 2016 approaches, we'll see a lot more of the Clinton body count.
Thanks for watching. What did you think of that? Let us know in the comments below.
If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and share. We'll see you next time.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Bye-bye.
Bye.